everyone, it is Holly and I am back reacting to even more 1-star reviews of some of my favorite books. I should have set my computer up before this because I'm going to use my computer this time, and I did not. So irresponsible. But yes, so I have done this previously. I will try to link those videos below if I remember. But I like to do this. I take like 3 books that are some of my favorites, 5-star reads, and read 1 star if there are any reviews of them. There's not always a ton, so maybe we'll have to go to 2-star if we have to. A lot of times there's 1-star ratings, so people don't always write reviews. And I do that because, one, negative reviews are not bad. They are just negative reviews. And so I understand as an author that can be very hard to hear, but it's true. And also, negative reviews can still get you readers because there can be things that you like in a book that other people don't. And alternatively, just because these are some of my favorites, they may not work for you, but I may not be able to call those things out to you the way a negative 1-star review could. So, you know. So first we are doing an oldie for me, but one I feel confident I can still adequately respond to. And that is Confessions of Confessions of a Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. This is one of my favorite books of all time. So it has a 3.71 star rating. It's almost 786,000 reviews or ratings. I have read this many a time. So 4% of the ratings are 1 stars. So let's see. This one probably will be hard for me. I probably won't care if people bash Becky. I'm guessing a lot of people will not like Becky, and I understand. I get it. But if anybody says anything about Luke Brandon, even though he's barely in this book, we will have words. It says, I was in the library when I walked by this book while I was looking for another book. I pulled it off the shelf, and because I found and read some pretty amazing books with this randomness, I thought, okay, another reason I have become a little obsessed with shopping on eBay. I thought this girl book would be fun. It would be like a new girlfriend getting to know good and bad about her, how she thinks about life. So I checked it out and I read it in about 6 hours. Reason, it sucked. The main character was English, so I didn't relate the stores that she was bragging about shopping at, and I didn't have the same Sex and the City lustful materialistic effect on me. So her prideful continuous description of these clothes she owned and was in debt for became ridiculous. And her constant shopping while in debt actually started to physically stress me out. I feel like it's weird to just, like, are you saying, is this person saying that, her name's Christy, so I'm assuming she didn't know about the story? Like, I just, like, that doesn't bother me. I've talked about this before. I hate when, like, publishers, like, change stories for, like, an American audience when it's obviously British. Like, you don't need to do that. I will say, her continuous shopping while in debt also physically stressed me out, and is one of the things I loved about this book. It's the first book that I had ever read that I understood why first person was an effective use, or like an effective point of view. And I think this, and is The Devil Wears Prada first person? I can't remember. I haven't read that in forever, but that gave me a similar feeling. Like, it really made me feel like the main character. It was very stressful. Halfway into the book, I felt really sad because I know that there is so many people who this is their reality. The shallow mindset of, or consumption of caffeine, sugar, shopping, fashion, the constant, I'm assuming, crave of distraction and never learning to deal. It just seemed to glorify being shallow and reinforce that if and when you are, you should keep on being so, because 3, the modern day fairy tale ending for could happen. Debt paid off, get the job you want, the guy, the clothes, the romance, the money, the fame. It grasps on the romantic notion of what life should be and could be. It seems to encourage that there's nothing wrong with lying to yourself and others. I could see how you would get that from this book potentially. But I think in the series as a whole, Sophie does a really good job with kind of walking that line with Becky. It reminds me of humans I know who choose to lead, this is kind of what I figure a lot of them are going to be, the most dramatic, self-indulged, objectified diva lifestyle, where they are the most important and beautiful person on the planet, and you'll regret being not trying to be their best friend, aka letting them use you when they are famous and rich one day. I think this book glamorizes this attitude, and no matter how you dress it up, there is nothing glamorous about that. I can see why a lot of people would feel that way about Becky. I personally don't feel that way about her, and I think part of that is, especially as the series continues, there are moments that Sophie does with her and other characters like her best friend Suze that kind of like push against Becky. But for this book, I definitely can see. Okay, next one. I really hate slamming books, really, I do. This book is the typical chick lit that I have grown to love, and to be fair, it's a quick read, but my praise stops there. The main character of this book, Rebecca Bloomwood, is the most annoying, daft, and ridiculous character I've ever had the misfortune to read about. I understand that she is a shopaholic, but I've had quite a few friends who fell into that category that were never in danger of being as simple-minded and arrogant as Rebecca. Okay. Every time I put this book down, I find myself angry, my forehead is wrinkled, and I'm snapping at my innocent boyfriend. Why? I'll give you a hint. It isn't because I'm upset at having to put the book down. All I can tell you is that unless you yourself are ignorant, incredibly stupid, deceitful, materialistic, dishonest, and rude, you will find nothing to associate with in Becky Bloomwood. Well, that's your opinion. Okay. I say nice things, so I will remain silent on that. Main character gets a few lucky breaks so she can continue pulling the same immature shit as she did at the beginning of the book and learns absolutely fuck all in the process. I can see how you would read it that way. Oh, I was like, what is this person saying? It says the main character gives me a bad name, and then I looked, her name is Becky. Fun fact, Rebecca is on my list of girl names. It's on the top of and it's not because of her. I just love the name Rebecca. This I'll just skim. She's bad at her job. She's completely self-centered and selfish and annoying, completely focused on outward appearances, and seems to think that the universe owes her a sweater. Yeah, I think these are accurate flaws that you are noticing in Becky. When she got to the part about paying 80 pounds for a decorative bowl that she initially thought was hideous and overpriced simply because it was featured in a magazine, and then started lying to herself about how she had spotted its worth all on her own and internally preening, I had to put the book down. I completely understand that, but for me, I think just like offer, I try not to argue these, but then I feel like I do. This is showing you a raw, honest look at people who literally have this problem. And I'm not sure if shopping is an addiction. I think that there are lines. I think some people call things addictions that are not, and I think we need to be perhaps more careful about that. But there are certain behaviors that maybe fall in similar lines, and I think that something like shopping is like that. And I think it's completely accurate that this is not a rational line of thought, but I would argue that most people that are like Becky aren't thinking rationally. If they were, they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in. Yeah, so they're saying there's no aha moment for her. I guess I see what they're saying. Maybe because I went into the second book so quickly and everything. I don't know. This book was wasting my time. I spent far too much on it. This one's kind of short. I picked up this book because I felt like I needed to know if I like chick lit in the slightest. I thought Good in Bed was pretty stupid, but I liked the whole Something Borrowed, Something Blue series, so I was on the fence. So I asked my friends for their favorite Kinsella book. This is my note to them. Who are you and why do you hate me? And in slightly less anger, really, girls? Did you just like this book at a time when you too were coming out of college and could slightly relate? Maybe. Because that's the only thing I can think of. The main character is compulsive, irresponsible, and above all, a compulsive liar. So what was I supposed to enjoy exactly? Yeah, a lot of these are kind of what I would have expected. And I think part of it comes down to I actually do like Becky. I think Becky is a little dramatic. She is dramatic, little. She's very dramatic. But, and I'm not sure I would want to be Becky's friend in real life, but I enjoy reading her. And I don't need to connect with a character like, or have something in common with them in order to enjoy a book. But for some people, that is like a deal breaker. I think for a lot of people, it's a deal breaker. Oh wait, let's move on to the next one. This one, I'm more curious. I feel like there might be less. This is a newer book, but so I feel like sometimes you don't get a lot of negative reviews right away. But you know, and that is Funny Story by Emily Henry, which I read last year and absolutely adored. We'll see if I remember enough. This has a 4.22 on Goodreads with over 900,000 ratings. Less than 1% are 1-star reviews. Oh my, so long. Why so many long reviews? I'm all for recycling, but does she have to keep writing the same book every year? I cannot comment on that. I've only read one Emily Henry book, other than this one, so 2. But before this, I had read Beach Read. Boring, repetitive, bland characters. An MC that moans every time she eats something. Is this some kind of weird new sex thing? Was I supposed to be turned on? Sparks were definitely flying, but that's just because I considered setting myself and the book on fire multiple times. I was actually going to give this 2 stars, but the more I think about it, the more I hate it. Also, I'm in a very bad mood, LOL. I respect the honesty. All of her books feel the same. I don't want to talk about it, so I won't. The MC spends the entire book complaining about how she built her entire life around her ex-fiance and then proceeds to build her entire life around another man. I do not disagree. I feel like she did a better job this time, but I think you're not wrong. Oh, I don't like to read ones that are DNFs. I had more fun reading other 1- and 2-star reviews. These characters need personality development training and self-help books, not some love story. You know how food tastes bland when you forget to add salt to it? This is the book equivalent of that. I'm trying to think. Oh, this one says too millennial for me. Maybe it is. And maybe that's why it worked for me, because I'm a millennial. I can see why people would think it's bland. Like, I don't remember thinking that, like thinking they were bland, but like I also don't need my characters to be like super dramatic. As we just talked about Becky, who is dramatic. Like, I don't need them to have some like huge defining characteristics. But yeah, maybe it is just too millennial and I'm just a basic millennial bitch. A lot of these are just like funny, but they're not like saying much about the book. There was one that had spoilers, but I didn't even click on it because I wasn't gonna do that. This one, it looks like their ratings are going down each time. Don't you love it when the only personality trait that the MCs have is that they got dumped? So apparently a lot of people think that they have no personality. Emily did us dirty with this one. I am personally victimized by how poorly thought through the story is. The best way I can explain it is it feels like she was uninspired but had a deadline, so she threw a few ideas down, leaned into a few basic tropes, and then added a lot of filler to fill a whole book's worth of pages. First of all, a crippling, insecure 35-year-old librarian is simply not who I want to lead an Emily Henry book, or any book. Why not? Anybody could lead a book. Second of all, every single element of the story feels half-baked. The mom who isn't warm but is her best friend, the dad who isn't relevant but then becomes the core storyline, the long-distance friend who is also mostly irrelevant but takes up most of the epilogue, stupid. Oh, I think I do remember that and being a little annoyed by it. The way Daphne and Miles initially get together is admittedly pretty silly, but the reactions their story elicits from every character are just unhinged. Hysterical, doubled over laughter, unable to catch their breath. No, it's amusing at best, immature and idiotic at worst. I think their story is kind of cute. The only redeeming quality to the story is the adorable Miles, who seems sweet and hot and thoughtful, even if totally hypocritical. If not for him, I would not have finished. From one Emily Henry lover to another, skip this one. I don't remember about like the side storylines, but I think that's a common issue in romances. I think that there's a line with romances where are you really focusing on the romance or are you trying to build your characters as individuals? And to be able to do both very well, because you're basically constructing 3 storylines then. You're constructing like one main character storyline, the other main character storyline, and then their romance. That's very hard to do. And so I think that's why a lot of times you don't have as much outer stuff. And I don't really care what you do, but like I don't have a preference either way necessarily. I just want you to do it well for me. Here's a question. Is it at all possible for an Emily Henry character to have a thought, idea, experience without a corresponding intense physical reaction? Literally every statement comes with a dramatic physical event. Her heart at any given time fluttered, thrashed, raced, shot up into her throat, unzipped more than once, lurched, tightened, cracked, vibrated, and twisted. At one time, pesky hope climbed into her ribs, and at another, there was a low yearning ache that she felt in her ribs. A lump of emotion climbed into her esophagus. She felt like she swallowed a light bulb. Okay, they just keep going. That is a lot, but I don't remember any of that. Like, I feel like that's one of those things where if you notice it in a book, or like if somebody points it out to you, then you probably notice it. I was thinking of the spoiler alert episode of How I Met Your Mother, and then you like can't unsee it. I also think to some extent this is like some way people are like taught to write, but I feel like this is the kind of thing that if I'm reading it, I just like don't fully absorb that. Does that make sense? Emily Henry definitely has a live, laugh, love side in her mansion. I don't know about that. I feel like Emily Henry is a little, I feel like her mom probably has a live, laugh, love side in her mansion. Oh, this is different than another one. This could have been a 3, but Miles makes it a 1. Repeat after me. Women don't exist to fix broken men. Stop idealizing this toxic shit. How is everyone swooning over this man baby and calling him the best male partner when the grown-ass adult can't even communicate by simple text or call? I don't remember enough to comment. I feel like this was a concern I had with this book, but I don't remember it being a concern I had at the end. But it was something I was worried about. Emily Henry writes well compared to other romance writers. Don't like that sentence, because she usually has some sort of social commentary and has better prose. I don't know what she was trying to say here. Women are not mothers. This just reads like a Temu version of an Emily Henry book. It's repetitive, boring, and has way too many details. I think that's kind of similar to the one with like the physical thing. No plot, no chemistry. Fast fashion books that feel like Hallmark movies with actors that act like they are on a Disney Channel aren't my cup of tea. I'm being civil here. I've read fan fiction written by 10-year-olds on Wattpad better than this. Main character is insufferable and annoying. Her little quirks, the moaning thing. See, I think that's something that I just like don't, but that was in more than one review. So, okay, this is gonna be the last one because it just makes me laugh. Free my girl Emily Henry. OMG, she is being held at gunpoint to release a book every year by her publishing house. She has served us enough. She needs to rest. This book was her worst one yet. We lost the plot 30% in. It was trying to do too much. Halfway through, we moved from the ex-fiance's cheating scandal to mommy and daddy issues. Also, the pop culture references would take me out of the story completely. You know it's bad when Taylor Swift is mentioned. The MC was too self-pitying, is maybe, and all the side characters were unforgettable. Do you mean they were forgettable? I don't know. I'm just disappointed because Emily Henry is one of the few authors who write good romance books with deep characters and meaningful conflicts. I think that this is a common thing, like something I've seen from people who enjoy Emily Henry, a lot of them. Is this gonna be rude? Not all Emily Henry fans, but I think that there are a lot of them who are not like other girls romance readers. And I said what I said, and I'm going to leave it there. I have only read Beach Read, which I think I gave 4 stars. It wasn't my favorite, but it was good enough. And this one, I didn't think Beach Read really was a romance. Like, I did not consider it a romance, even though it had a romantic plot line. But funny story, I felt like was in fact a romance. So I don't know. The next one is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, which again, hopefully I can remember enough. Also, I did read the second book, so hopefully I don't confuse things. I absolutely adored this book. And it made me so happy when I read it. Like, not happy, it was like actually very like emotional of a read, but it just made me feel something, you know? This has a 4.17 star with over 600,000 review or ratings. It's Goodreads Choice Award winner, which I think Funny Story was as well. This has less than 1%, 1 star as well. Oh, I should have predicted things for this one. I should have said, because I see the first one there, I mentioned world building. World building and magic, I think, will be common. The world building is so bad at some point, the main male character says he loves summer because it's when baseball season is back. They use lifts and have electricity, but use typewriters. The war resembles the fighting strategies they used in World War I, and there's magic and gods. The romance is horrible. The dialogue is so cheesy and cringe, it does not even allow you to have a cozy, fun read. It's just strange. Every single chapter sets something that brings you out of the story. I do not understand the hype. I think we need to start reading more to acclaim better books, because being over 25 and having this as a major literary favorite is just bad. Well, that's rude. I don't understand how that's world building being that is not where I thought that was gonna go. I mean, it's a magical book. Also, I'm not sure that elevators weren't around. They're pretty old. I think the dialogue, I thought it was a little cheesy too, but I just, you just throw yourself. She writes letters like I did when I was heartbroken at 13 over my Minecraft boyfriend. World building, don't know her. There is not a lot of world building in these books. Like, the whole God storyline, like, honestly, don't understand it. Any magic, don't understand it. But honestly, don't care. And I think that there are some people, like, for the most part, like, if you're not trying to write that story, I don't need that story. I can do, like, a detailed world building, magic system, that kind of thing, but I don't need it. You know what? It's one of those things. Like, for me, this is a lot of vibes. This book, like, vibes. And some people don't like that. To all the girls on Book Talk that recommended to read this after Fourth Wing, I hate you. Oh, I do not think that these are comparable books at all. And I don't just say that because I'm not a huge fan of Fourth Wing and I did like this book. I just don't think they have, like, anything in common. In, like, I guess that they have, like, a romance element and maybe there's war involved in both. Like, I would not compare them in any way. Feeling bamboozled, lied to, led astray. See, I love when a 1-star review is funny. Stunted narration and cheesy dialogue. Really bland characters with an elaborate hidden identity romance, which was resolved really poorly. World building that never made any sense. Horrible pacing. How do you manage to have a war happening in the background of your story and make it boring? Nothing about this worked for me, and I wish I had just committed to the DNF. So again, talking about cheesy dialogue, even I agree that some of it is cheesy. Bland characters. I see what they're saying to some extent. I don't think they're bland. I feel like this is similar to Funny Story, but this I remember a little bit better. I think it's more of, like, what you want from a character development. And this, I didn't find it bland, but I can see how other people would view it that way. World building never made any sense. Again, there is no world building. It's vibes. The world building is vibes. And Rebecca did the vibes. Horrible pacing. The war is interesting. I felt a lot of tension around the war. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of stress. So that may have resolved any pacing. The pacing was weird here. I feel like I remember it not like slow or fast or anything like that, just like not paced the way I would have expected the book to go. And sometimes I think when authors do that, one, big chance it fails. People have, like, an expectation for what they want to happen in a book and how it's going to be structured. And I think when you don't follow that structure, they think there's something wrong with the pacing. And it could be that there's something wrong with the pacing, or it could be that it's different and it's, like, uncomfortable feeling because it's not what you're used to. Neither is wrong. It's just different. But yeah, I don't think it really goes the way you would think it. I'm loving these reviews. The writing was pretty, but I'm also pretty. At least I have something to offer. Nah, I'm done. You all lied to me. Like, if two teens met on Christian Mingle and then whined constantly. Maybe. It's YA. But I kind of see what you're saying. It's very moody, like moody, vibey, like a little angsty, like with the romance and everything. I get it. If you're in the right mood for it though, like, it hits. This is what I'm saying. I kind of respect the author for doing no world building at all. Listen, you give that a 1 star. I give that a 5 vibes. I don't get the hype. This was boring. It was not, oh, hold on. It was not epic. It has no power of love. Everything on this book was on the surface. Nothing really went deep. Most of the fantasy was about a typewriter. Yeah. The enemies to lovers was non-existent. I think that's true. I think that that is oversold in the marketing. And Roman was a liar and very annoying. Okay. I do worry that if I read this again, would I feel differently about it? Maybe. Are the enemies to lovers in the room with us? I agree. I don't think this is enemies to lovers. Divine Rivals is a book with an interesting premise, which it absolutely fails to deliver to the point of bafflement. Betrayed by book talk once again. Maybe it helps that I'm not on the book talk, you know? Oh, this one says vibes in it, so we're going to read it because she mentions the word vibes. The hype about this book makes no sense to me. I'm sort of surprised this is so mainstream since the premise is actually pretty weird. I actually kind of agree. I feel like this is not the kind of book I would expect to pop off. A conflation between World War II vibes and fantasy gods at work. I would argue like that other review, I think that was first one. I think it's more World War I, but yes. But the fantasy element just did not interest me. What fantasy element, ma'am? We've already discussed this. Lack of world building and magic systems. That's probably why it didn't interest you. Also, nicely slots into one of my pet peeves. Advertised enemies to lovers, but is in fact just only for about 78 pages, limply, at which point it dissolves into insta-love. It does, but I don't care. Every once in a while, that works, and it hits. Blah. And the rest of it is so sickly sweet it is. It just wasn't convincing in the slightest. Roman is vanilla ice cream drizzled with cream. That is so accurate. Yawn. I'm over here looking at all these 5-star reviews, like literally how? Okay, I feel like I need to follow this girl just because you say all of these things and I 100% agree with them, but I liked it. Like, I liked this. This is why I'm talking about 1-star reviews. Oh my gosh. Dominique. Like, her name is Dominique. I feel like I'm going to go look at her profile. I feel like I need to follow her. Oh, she hasn't been active since October 2024. Dominique, I'm still going to try to add you as a friend because I appreciated your review. I think that you are a hoot and a half. Okay, so that is my reaction to more 1-star reviews of some of my favorites or 5-star reads. I hope I was nice enough. Sorry about the pick me comment. I hate people that say pick me too. So like, I kind of cringe that I did that. I'm sorry, but I said what I said. But yes, these are funny story. I feel like I didn't remember enough about. Maybe I shouldn't have picked that one. I want to do another one of these videos, but I can't really think of any other books that I know well enough to like observe them. Maybe I'll have some 5 stars this year and we can do those. I don't know. But yes, thank you for watching. I hope that this helped you. Remember, negative reviews are not bad. They are just information and you can do with them whatever you want. But yes, thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time. Well, bye.